I'm going to talk about Proteax, which is Biochemfusion software for handling modified proteins. And I'm going to talk about how that can be integrated with the ChemAxon toolkits Marvin and JChem. So let's look at what we can do. Why talk about integration? That's because biologics is getting more and more interesting. The problem is that when you move from small molecules into the big molecules of proteins, then you tend to make a shift from describing molecules as molecular graphs, collections of atoms and bonds, and you tend to go to another abstraction level and say we're talking about sequences, where you describe a molecule as a chain of fragments and describing the fragments with one-letter codes. The problem is cheminformatics tools tend to they're not so good at handling really large molecules. And bioinformatics tools are not really good at handling small molecules. And then we have those interesting things in the middle that are neither nor, like something like human insulin. You'd like to be able to describe it both as a chemical structure and as a sequence. And that's exactly what Proteax can. But Proteax doesn't do chemical indexing, and that's why you want to do something where you integrate those two lines of products. So you could let Biochemfusion's Proteax handle all the sequence stuff and let ChemAxon tools handle all the chemistry stuff. So can we do that? Well, let's have a look at how easy it is to get access to the Proteax functionality. Proteax is a standard library that you can interface to from almost any kind of language. You can interface to it, you can access it from Excel, you can access it as a cartridge within Oracle and Postgres, and recently there's also access to it from KNIME. So I could show you how wonderful that is, but instead I'll show you how wonderful other people think it is. And one good example is our local Sysment company here in Hungary. They're building a new type of ELN that exactly integrates the ChemAxon toolkits and Biochemfusion's toolkits. And what they've done is to use the Proteax.net API to build a web-based ELN that allows you to create experiments where you handle modified peptides and proteins. This is a great example of a modified insulin, where you do side chain modification, perform the reaction, and get the result. And all those things are stored and searchable. Another example is the company The Edge. You may have seen that company name on one of the partner slides before. They're based in the UK, and Biochemfusion recently started a collaboration with The Edge to integrate the Proteax toolkit into The Edge's Morphlt product. Morphlt already has an integration with the ChemAxon tools. It uses the ChemAxon renderers to be able to visualize structures right inside this type of spreadsheet. And this year, we'll have something that is able to do exactly the same thing, only for peptides and proteins. And if you look closely, you'll see that some of these names are a bit strange. That's because this is a graphical mock-up. But if you go outside in the break, I'll have a live demo that you can check out. And there's also some product flyers out there. So please come and visit. I'll just leave you with a few links. This is the Proteax for spreadsheets. That's the Excel version of the Proteax toolkit. And if you go into the ChemAxon UGM archives, you can check my presentation last year where I did a demo of how to integrate or how to interface from Proteax for spreadsheets directly into JChem for Excel. And of course, there's a link to Sysment, and there's a link to the plugins that the Edge do, and the Proteax plugin will appear there later this year. So that's about it. I'm on record time, or? Okay, thanks.